Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Quantum Alignment Show. I'm still in the middle here of pushing buttons. Hang on a sec. All right, good. I am super excited to be here today. I'm talking about what is a topic that gets asked a lot by my clients. It's a topic that gets people really, really excited. And it's a topic that speaks to the heart of who you are. We're going to be looking today, or at least beginning, I think, a month-long conversation about life purpose in the chart and how to begin to understand your life purpose in the chart and what to look at in the chart to figure out why are you here. So here's why, before we get rolling, why this is such an important conversation. And people don't get this a lot because I think sometimes we are so deeply conditioned to compromise that we don't realize the vital essence, the importance of being aligned with your purpose and living authentically. We think that's a luxury sometimes, or that we can do our purpose later when we're older and all the bases are covered and we've fulfilled our obligations. And we get comfortable sometimes with compromising. But here's the dangerous part. And don't usually talk about dark stuff or dangerous stuff, but I just want to throw this out here because, as I said, I don't think we talk about this enough. When you're not living true to your purpose, when you're not living in a way that's aligned with the heart of who you are, you're out in the world and you're compromising. And maybe you're compromising by working a job you hate, or maybe you're compromising by doing what you think you should do, or maybe you're compromising by fulfilling other people's expectations of you because you don't want to deal with people's reactions or responses to your truth. And that happens for us a lot. Or sometimes we don't believe we're lovable or valuable enough or worthy of really being who we truly are in the world. If you're in any way compromising from that truth, if you're trying to be something you're not, if you're trying to live a purpose that isn't really yours, if you're trying to be someone you're not, that's not just a luxury to be yourself, to be aligned with your authentic self. It's actually important for your health, for your relationships, for your money, for your career fulfillment. The bottom line is, if you're trying to be something you're not, you're spending an awful lot of energy being someone you're not. And that energy burning creates burnout. And that burnout, we think burnout is a chronic, humongous issue. I will tell you, I bet you 98% of my clients are burned out. And we think we're burned out because we're overworked or because of stress or because of anxiety. I personally think the biggest source of stress and anxiety and exhaustion is from struggling to be who we're not. When you are being who you are, your life gets easier because you suddenly line up with the trajectory of what you're here to do and who you're supposed to be. And I'm not saying there's no resistance. And in fact, today we're going to talk about the importance of struggle, because we have to struggle to a certain degree. That's part of the growth process. In fact, it's in the blueprint of the human experience. But the quality and the quantity and the fire that goes into enduring the bumps in the road, that capacity that you have to be resilient goes up exponentially when you're living true to who you are. If you're working really, really hard towards something that's really, really aligned with the heart of who you are, you're not going to burn out even though you're working hard. Hard work isn't the formula for burnout, okay? What burns us out is not being true to who we are and not being aligned with our life path and what we're really kind of destined to be, or what I believe our souls intended us to be and do before we even got here. So let's get started today talking about life purpose in the chart. I'm going to share with you information, first of all, about the spiritual purposes of the types in the chart. And then I want to talk about the incarnation crosses and a couple just clues that you leave yourself along the way as you go on this journey to remembering the truth of who you are. So we always have to start with the most important question, and that question is, why are you here? And ultimately, I believe that you're here to grow and evolve. And in fact, if we look at the blueprint, if we look at the chart, the human design chart, as a blueprint or a template for the human potential and the human experience, we see that the chart shows us that we're here to grow and evolve. That we have in front of us, you have in front of you, if you have your chart in front of you, you have a map that tells you about the potential for your life and even the things you have to manage, overcome, understand in order to consciously bring out the highest potential expression of who you are on that chart. That is a growth process. That is an evolution process. And honestly, a large part of that process is about forgetting who everybody told you should be and remembering the heart of who you truly are. When we look at the human design chart as a template and we look at the question, what's possible for us, we have to always look for the G center and look at what's in the G center first. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the G center, even though I'm a little bit obsessed with it. If you are really curious about the G center, which is sometimes called the identity center, if you're really curious about it, go to over on the Facebook page. And if you're on my YouTube channel, you can find this on my YouTube channel. Over my Facebook page where it says videos, click on the videos tab. And I actually, about a month ago, did a whole thing about the G center. So if you want to learn more about the G center, you can go watch that. But the G center ultimately is the center for love and direction. And what the G center shows us is that we are designed to take our direction from the degree to which we love ourselves, the degree to which we feel powerful, the degree to which we are aligned with the truth of who we are, the degree to which we are willing to redefine the story of who we are on a regular basis, the degree to which we are connected to spirit and source, and that connection to spirit and source is the source of your direction and your power. We are we are connected to our physical vitality. Our bodies are healthy and dynamic and able to carry out the intention of our spirit. We are given the direction in life based on our willingness to allow ourselves to receive support to help us fulfill our purpose in life. And ultimately, our direction in life and who we are is also determined in part by our capacity to give back or to share or to operate and create from a place of compassion. The purpose of life is to line yourself up with these energies as best as possible and to keep growing these energies. You know, one of the things that I just want to throw out here, because this is another thing I've really been noticing a lot with, certainly with myself being 50 some years old, and maybe some of you have noticed that too, and I think some of it comes from being in a formula, logic, Newtonian driven culture still. We have a tendency to think about life having these sort of finish lines. We set goals and we get to the finish line and we cross the finish line and it's like, phew, done, I could check that off the list. What the chart shows us is that there's no finish line, but that in fact we are in this constant cycle of growth and expansion, and that the intention of the chart is, and the intention of our life journey is to continue to grow and expand in the fullest expression of every one of these energies in the G center. So it's not just love myself, check, got that done. It's how can I expand in my love for myself? How can I expand in the appreciation of who I am? And how can I expand in my manifestation of that in the physical reality? Or this one's usually easier for people to do than the self-love piece. How can I grow in compassion? How can I continue to expand on the theme of compassion in my life? And how can I continue to use my life to express this ever-expanding energy of compassion in my world? So it's not a finish line. It's a structural framework for consistent and constant growth and expansion. And here's the thing, if you think about it from that perspective, you never get tired and you never get complacent and you don't let inertia seduce you because you're never done. It's always fun and part of the journey, right? So let's talk first about how do we find our direction? Now, most people come to me and they say, oh, I don't know what I'm here to do. And I don't know how to, how do I figure this out? First of all, let me just say that that's a ruse. I promise you that 99.9% of you know exactly what you're here to do, because when I give you a human design reading, or you go get a human design reading from any of my students, and they tell you, oh, here's your purpose, you all go, yeah, I knew that. That's so reaffirming. You don't need reaffirming from somebody else. You know your purpose. Stop doubting it. What we doubt is not our purpose. What you're really probably doubting is your value. And you're really probably doubting your power and the magnificence of your unique role in the cosmos, because we are taught to downplay that. We're taught that we can't toot our own horn, and we don't want to get too full of ourselves, and we don't want to be narcissists. You're not a narcissist. You know what you're here to do. I bet you don't need me to confirm it for you. You don't need anybody else to confirm it for you. But it is nice to hear it sometimes. I get that. So how do you find your direction? First and foremost, you follow your human design strategy according to your type, and not just your strategy, but your authority. So I'm not going to get too much into that today, but I do want you, if you're new to human design, get your free human design. You can go to understandinghumandesign.com, fill out the information there, get your free chart. We'll send you a nice report with it. We have a brand new book available on Amazon called The Human Design Activation Guide. It's a great basic introduction to the human design system, and it goes a lot into type and strategy. Or if you want to get a little bit more complex with it and go deeper into the gates and the channels, you can also get my book, Understanding Human Design, on Amazon. And you may want to have access to that book today anyway, because we are going to talk about gates today and how to look at gates in your chart. And the Understanding Human Design book actually goes through all the channels and the gates. But number one, to find your life purpose and direction, follow your human design type, strategy, and authority. Number two, and this is the part we don't talk a lot about in human design because we forget, human design is just the mechanics. There's other stuff that happens in the chart. You're plugged in. You're plugged into source. You're plugged into your soul. You're plugged into higher wisdom. And sometimes that doesn't show up in the chart. It's, the chart is just the mechanical part. So we've got to look at some of the other things woven into the other energies here too. However, what we see in the chart is that you're intuitive. You're designed to be intuitive. You are intuitive. There's nobody on the planet who is not intuitive. No one. You are intuitive by design. There's two things that happens with intuition. And actually, if you want to learn more about the nature of how you're hardwired, if you go to the understandinghumandesign.com webpage and you go to the catalog, the course catalog, I have a whole program on there called Intuition by Design that helps you go through the hardwiring in the chart to figure out how your intuition works, because everybody's intuition works differently. You are intuitive. You might be hardwired differently than everybody else, but you are intuitive. But what happens a lot of times with our intuition is that most people, I find, are not disconnected from their intuition. I don't usually find that's really the issue. The real issue is we are so intuitive and we have expectations about how we think it should look. Like we expect, I'm going to give a big flaming Archangel Michael at the foot of my bed telling me, here's your life purpose, right? It doesn't usually work that way. We just have a deep sense of knowingness. We have an inner awareness. And when we hit those spots where we're on track intuitively with what we need to be doing, we feel it. But we tend to discount it, or we think we're not hearing it because it's not showing up with a big flaming angel. It's just sort of part of our knowingness. And so we start to doubt what we know. There's an expression in Judaism that says, fish are not the ones who discovered water. I think sometimes most of my clients are so intuitive, it's like being a fish in water. You don't realize you're being intuitive because it's such a natural integrated aspect of how you understand things that you're not seeing it, or you're not recognizing that it's something outside or different from yourself. But your intuition, that inner click, that hum, that synchronous sense of it's right, and intuition's going to come either physically, you're going to feel it, you're going to get chills, right? You're going to know physically, oh, this is it. You're going to know, you're not going to know how you know that you know, but you know. You might sense that you're into a pattern that's working for you. You might hear voices, and that's true. Some of you are intuitively clairaudient, which means you hear voices, or you hear a voice in your head. If it's a good voice and it's telling you how amazing you are, then that's the voice I want you to trust. You might smell. Some of you are intuitively, you're smellers, you're clairolfactants. That's a rare one, but some of you may even smell like intuitively, this is the right direction to go. It might smell right. Or you might get a sign, like you might smell roses or your grandmother's perfume, and you'll know, this is my sign to get going. But as I said, the Intuition by Design program goes in depth into all of that. And I promise you, your intuitive awareness is going to show you or tell you what direction to go in addition, of course, to your human design. strategy. The third thing, and this is the one that's super tricky, because for whatever reason, we are so beautifully trained to suffer that we forget that following your life purpose is supposed to feel good. And the things that feel good and right are usually the things that move you in the direction of your purpose, because it feels good to be on purpose. We are not supposed to suffer. You are not supposed to be a martyr to your purpose. I will tell you right now, please file this away for future use. The age of martyrdom is over. You are not designed to martyr yourself to anything, including your purpose. Your purpose is supposed to feel good. You're not supposed to die to it. You're not supposed to have to suffer for it. You're supposed to enjoy it, and it is enjoyable because it's what you're supposed to be doing. But here's the piece, and I just want you to be aware of this. Part of what happens when we go into the pursuit of our purpose is that sometimes we do hit bumps and struggles. We are designed in the experience and on the path of growth and expansion. We are designed to struggle. Now, notice that I'm saying struggle, not suffer. There's a distinct difference between the two. You're not designed to suffer. There's no suffering in the chart. You can't find it, except for when you're trying to be something you're not. That usually creates suffering. When you are being aligned with the truth of who you are going to hit bumps. You're going to push up, usually against yourself. And what we see, and what I see in every single chart, is that every single chart has what I call a core conundrum in it. Everybody has a place in your chart where you bump up against yourself, where you have elements in your chart that are conflicting. Like maybe you want to be different, but you also want to belong. You may have that in your chart. That's a common thing that some of us have, okay? Those conundrums in your chart, first of all, a good human design specialist, and again, you can go to understandinghumandesign.com and find my students. They are trained to do this. A good human design specialist can look at your chart and help you identify where that conundrum might be. If you understand that conundrum, it helps you understand what you need to master in order to continue on your process of growth and expansion. And it is going to be a little bit of a struggle. It's not, as I said, suffering. It's those places where, because part of the purpose of life is growth, we have to push up against ourselves. We have to challenge ourselves. We have to have adventures as part of our growth process to continue to increase and expand our capacity to be and to occupy the full expression of the truth of who we are. So struggling is not bad. But I think sometimes we think, oh, if we hit a bump that we're failing or we're doing it wrong, or that, oh, this is a sign I shouldn't be doing it, or maybe, I'm screwing it up. You're going to struggle. It's not the end of the world. It's the nature of growth. And if you are on path and clear about your path enough, you'll understand that when you hit those bumps, the purpose of those bumps is to help you grow, to become more masterful, to make sure that the energy that you're putting into the journey that you're on is really worth the effort, so that you're not wasting your time pursuing something that isn't right and good and true. And truthfully, the struggle, and we actually see this in the blueprint of the chart, and for those of you who have this channel, the 2838, this is part of your theme in life. The purpose of the challenges and the adventures and the struggles is to help you deepen your drive, because you get from the challenges that you face how precious and valuable the journey really is. So don't worry if you hit a bump, because you might. It doesn't mean you're screwing it up or you're getting it wrong. It just means you're growing. The next thing that I want to talk about, and I just want to go through this again briefly, because it's something we don't talk about a lot, but I think it's a really beautiful thing to look at, because we talk about manifestors are here to initiate, and generators are here to build, and projectors are here to manage and guide and direct, and reflectors are here to reflect. We don't often look at the spiritual purpose of each one of these types, because when we're not living the spiritual purpose, or we're not recognizing and honoring and valuing the spiritual purpose, sometimes it's easy to slip into a dark mindset or a defeating mindset about your human design type. Or maybe you don't, you want to have a little bit of a deeper understanding of, why am I here? It's not just the work part. I got to be doing something more than that. So let's look at that for a minute. The manifester. Manifestors are about 8% of the population. They are initiating forces. The manifestor has the spiritual role of translating pure inspiration, divine inspiration, into form. They are the initiators of the cosmic plan. If you think about the manifestor energy, manifestors are constantly serving this inner, nonverbal, not yet manifested, cosmic creative flow. And when you are a manifestor, part of your role in life is to begin to initiate the manifestation of that cosmic plan onto the planet so that everybody else can then start doing their part of the cosmic plan. You are here to serve that inspirational flow. And that's why it's so crucial when we love manifestors, or if you are a manifestor, it's why it's so crucial that the role of the manifestor needs to be supported, that a manifestor needs to be allowed to follow that inner creative flow, because it is that inner creative flow that is the gift, that is part of what they're here to bring forth into the world. And it benefits all of us when they can serve that flow, and we don't take it personally when sometimes they forget to inform, because they will. The generators are here to ground the cosmic plan. They do the work of the world. So it is the generator that takes cues from the unfolding of the plan on the material plane, and from that response-based dance that the generators do with the material plan, they begin to do the work of the world. It's the generators that are handing out the water bottles in Africa. It's the generators that are digging the wells and feeding people and doing the physical labor of building the energy of the new world. And that's all generator types, by the way. That's generators and manifesting generators. Projectors have a very interesting role. Projectors, first of all, are here to understand energy. They literally are constantly processing life force energy. And it is the projector that plays the role of what I call cleaning or clearing karmic patterns. The projectors are born with this innate sense of understanding of what's possible for the world. They are literally holding the energy grid or the template or the morphogenetic field or the subtle body, if you want to call it that, of what's to come in the world. They see the potential. They're anchoring and holding the energy frequency or the grid for that next phase of evolution in their bodies. And they are constantly processing and clearing the energy, keeping that grid clean. They're aligning the energy and anchoring the template for coming energies. So we talk a lot about projectors being burned out, and sometimes we kind of roll our eyes like, oh, it's a burned out projector. You know, it is absolutely, when you understand that this is what the projector's doing day and night, they're holding tight to this energy grid, to this karmic template, and they've got to sometimes fight to keep that template in place. It makes total sense why projectors are tired sometimes. They're laying on the couch, and we think, oh, they're resting. While they're asleep, they're taking care of this grid. They're cleaning up all the mess that the rest of us make, right? So it's a very, very important job, a crucial job, and a job, honestly, that I wish we would value collectively a little bit more. The reflectors are then serving the role of reflecting it all back to us. It's through our reflectors that we see how healthy is the grid, how healthy is the template, how aligned are we with the cosmic flow. What the reflector shows us is how are the rest of us doing our work? Are we letting the manifestors manifest the creative inspiration into form? Are we letting the generators work the plan? Or are we telling the generators, oh, you should go get a real job, right? Instead of letting them follow their passion. Are we judging the projectors and pushing them into work and calling them lazy and not recognizing the vital quality of what they're doing when they're anchoring and holding this energy grid? So our reflectors are really crucial. You know, I always call the reflector the canary in the coal mine. They're really showing us, are we on track or not? And if your reflectors are not doing well, we need to pay attention to that, because that means we're all not doing well. And if our reflectors are doing amazing, that means we're all doing amazing. So, all right. So I like to leave you guys with a little bit of homework. And I think Cindy has posted in the chat, if you're joining us on Zoom, the link to the handouts so you can have a copy of the slides. And I know by now she's probably already posted them on Facebook, because that's what Cindy's. So there is a link on Facebook to the slides, the questions that I'm going to pose for you are on those slides. I really encourage you to just think about these questions and maybe even take some time this weekend, especially under the current transits. This is a deep, beautiful, contemplative, initiating time right now. So, ask yourself, according to your type, are you fulfilling your unique role as your type? Are you living true to your type? What meanings do you have about yourself and who you are that maybe you need to change to make sure that you are bringing those meanings back into harmony with the truth of who you are? And what needs to be healed, released, aligned, and brought to your awareness to live more in alignment with who you really are? These are, again, you don't have to know the answers to these questions. The universe is so magical that if you ask the questions, the answers will eventually show up. But it is kind of fun. I think it's very effective to write these questions or meditate or contemplate these questions and explore them and make sure that your life is a really powerful reflection of the truth of who you really are. In this next section, Cindy, just real quick, how am I doing for time? Cindy's my timekeeper.
It's almost 1:30. So
oh, good. I'm doing great. I'm trying to get through these. I want to get through this section today and hopefully leave a little bit of time to look at people's charts if people have their charts. So in this next section, I want to talk a little bit about the power of the planets and your purpose. Say that 3 times fast. The power of planets and purpose. The planets on your chart give you what I call the infrastructure of evolution. Each planet has a particular theme, a particular energy. The planets light up or highlight a hexagram or the gates in your chart, and that dance between the planetary archetype and the energy of the gate that's being highlighted by the planet creates the story of who you are. It is really a beautiful story, and it's a story that grows and evolves. Each planet carries a part of the theme in evolution, and I'm not going to go deep into the planets today, but I just wanted to kind of speak a little bit into some of the major planets and just to start dropping some seeds of understanding into your consciousness and give you some different ways to look at your chart. Your chart is really a story. And when I train my human design specialists to look at charts, I'm teaching them to become storytellers, to be able to look at your chart and to see that chart as a journey, a hero's journey, and a story. And every hero's journey has a beginning, and in the beginning there's innocence, and from the innocence we bump up against, a struggle or a challenge or a monster in the closet or some transformative struggle, and from that struggle we then emerge more mature, more deeply aligned with the truth of who we are and our purpose. Now, the story of who you are is outlined beautifully in the chart. And when we look at life purpose, especially when people say, what's my life purpose? Or if I do a life purpose reading, these are the things that I'm looking at in the chart. Now, I'm going to walk through these briefly today. And today I'm only going to talk about the Incarnation Cross. I will talk about some of these other elements over the course of the next couple of weeks because they're kind of interesting to play with, and it's something I don't talk about a lot with people who are not my professional students. So I'm kind of pulling back some of this for you so that you can start to see the story of who you are maybe from a different perspective. When I'm looking at life purpose in the chart, I am looking first and foremost at the Incarnation Cross. The Incarnation Cross are the top 4 numbers in your chart, and I'll show you where they are in just a minute. The Incarnation Cross comprises about 70% of your chart. So if we were going to energetically weigh like which of the planets and which of the gates have the most weight, the Incarnation Cross, which is the sun and the earth position in your chart, carry about 70% of your personality. And it really is what I like to call the plot outline of the story. It tells me a lot about your purpose and what you're here to do. Your Chiron, and not everybody looks at Chiron in the chart, but I like Chiron a lot, mostly because I think Chiron is really the hallmark of the modern male age. I think as we are living longer, and it's taking us a little bit longer to mature. That middle age now really kind of happens more between 48 and 52, and Chiron sort of speaks a lot to that cycle as being the maturing point in the chart. But your Chiron is what I like to call the gift that keeps on giving. It's your spiritual challenge in the chart. And it's a challenge that has to be mastered for us to reach maturity in the expression of our life purpose. So your Chiron is going to tell you a lot about that devil that keeps showing up every time you up level your life. It's that one issue that you keep kind of bumping up against over and over again over the course of your life in much more mature expressions every time. But it tells me a lot about what challenge do you need to master to really fulfill your purpose. And ultimately, when you master your Chiron challenge, it shows me what part of your spiritual purpose is, what you're here to teach the world. We call Chiron sometimes the healed healer. It's what you're here to give back to the world as part of your role in healing the world. I also like to look at Saturn and Jupiter because, again, those are maturing points in the chart, and they tell me a lot, again, about what you're going to bump up against as part of your struggle part of your growth and expansion. I always like to look at the moon because whatever's in the moon is what's driving you. And because my clients are always spiritually based and spiritually grounded, I always like to look at Neptune and the nodes as well because it tells me a lot about the purpose of your journey and, most importantly, the spiritual part of your journey, because people want to know their spiritual purpose in addition to their life purpose. Now, I'm just rolling this out for you. If you're familiar with your chart and you're familiar with the gates, you can start thumbing through the Understanding Human Design book and looking at your chart and figuring some of this out on your own. As I said, today I'm just going to talk about the Incarnation Cross because it's pretty big and it's a big thing to play with. And I just want to show it to you because I think it's kind of fascinating. And personally, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the information that's out there about the Incarnation Crosses. I think we make them unnecessarily complicated. And I want to kind of simplify it for you so that you can hopefully get a little bit of an understanding about it. So for the next part of the chart of this program, I want you to have a copy of your chart and a copy of my book, Understanding Human Design. I love my book because I wrote it, but I'm also not that married to it. If you have a different book, if you have, I know Linda Bennell has her book, Chetan has a book, you can use Richard Rudd's Gene Keys. You can even use, I don't have this with me, I was going to put this close to me before I sat down, any book about the I Ching even will help you understand the gates in the chart. So even if you don't have a human design book, if you have an I Ching book, you can look it up with the I Ching. And if you don't have an I Ching book, you can look it up online because the I Ching is online. So also, here's another thing, Cindy, do you want to post a link to the 2018 transit guide?
Sure. So,
okay. You may have already gotten this, some of you who are hanging out with me at the beginning of the year, but I did put out a guide to all of the solar transits for the year. The sun, it moves through all of the hexagrams over the course of the year. So in this 2018 solar transit guide, there's a little bit of information about all of the 64 hexagrams. So you can flip through there too and learn a little bit more about your gates if you want to look at gates. So the Incarnation Cross, let's go. So as I said, the Incarnation Cross is what I would call the plot outline of the chart. It tells me a lot about how the story is going to unfold, and most importantly, what the purpose of the story of your life is. You will find the Incarnation Cross in the top 4 numbers of the chart. So the top 2 black numbers and the top 2 red numbers. That is your conscious and unconscious sun and earth. Those 4 numbers, as I said, are about 70% of your, I won't say the word personality because it starts to get confusing. They're about 70% of who you are. The position of the earth tells us a lot about what you're here to give to the world. The position, I'm sorry, forgive me, I said that backwards. The position of the sun, that's the top number, the circle with the dot in it. The position of the sun tells us a lot about what you're here to give to the world. The position of the earth tells us a lot about what you're here to receive and what grounds you. Now, as I go through this story of how to look at this, I do want you to understand that I am going to challenge your storytelling ability. I'm going to make you fight for this a little bit. I'm going to make you struggle for this a little bit so it's really meaningful to you. And I'm saying this now in advance because, I have a lot of practice doing this, and I do what it took me a lot of years to be able to roll this off my tongue in a nanosecond. So some of you may find that you have to work on this a little bit, and please don't feel like there's something wrong with you or that it's too hard or that you can't do it just because you got to work at it a little bit. Some incarnation crosses are easy to understand. Some are a little bit more of an adventure because they're just, they make you stretch a little bit in your creativity. So I'm going to walk you through some ways of looking at this that hopefully will make it simple for you to understand. And as I said, those stretch your storytelling skills. So we're going to start with an example. And we're going to look at an incarnation cross. The incarnation cross, we're going to look at the left angle cross of masks. And the left angle, this is just an example. I'm going to walk through an example. The left angle cross of masks has the sun in the conscious 13, the sun in the unconscious 43. It has the earth in the conscious 7, and the earth in the unconscious 23. Those are the 4 numbers that comprise the left angle cross of masks. And if you look at this slide, you'll see that I posted it, what it looks like, where you find the gates on the chart. Now, the first thing that I want you to think about is, of these 4 numbers, the conscious sun is really the most important. It's not that it's the most important, that's really the wrong way to say it, but it's the one that's the energy that really becomes the most expressive energy out of these 4 numbers. So if you think of the conscious sun as being a funnel, the flow of energy in the chart, everything in the chart, not just the incarnation cross, pushes up through the chart and gets expressed, gets pushed through the big mouth in the funnel, and it gets expressed at the bottom through the conscious sun. So everything in the chart pushes through the conscious sun. So if you could only pick one gate in your chart to look at to help you understand more about yourself, look at the energy of the conscious sun. That's the top right black number, because that's going to tell you a lot about your adventures in life. Okay? It's going to tell you a lot about who you are, and it may even tell you a little bit about what you struggle with. So going back to the left angle cross of masks, the solar expression gate, the gate that's in the conscious sun in the left angle cross of masks, is in the gate 13. So the gate 13 is called the Fellowship of Man. It is a gate, it's a funny gate. If any of you have the gate 13, remember this is a gate that comes off the top right hand side of the diamond in the chart, the G center. When you have this gate, people tell you everything. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you have the flu and you're going to Starbucks to get a cup of tea. People will come up to you and tell you their deepest, darkest secrets and everything that you probably never even wanted to know about them. They can't help it. They see you. They see your gate 13. They plop out all their truth to you. So when you have the gate 13, you are a listener. That's the role of the gate 13. And it is through the listening that you hold in your heart the stories that you hear, and you ultimately use those stories to redefine your own direction in life and ultimately help other people tell a new story about who they are in their life. So somebody near the gate 13, the highest expression of that gate is you listen, you bear witness to people, right? You are compassionate with your listening, and when you're done listening, you help people find the blessings in their pain, transform the pain into a new story so that they can begin to take a new direction in their life. Your role when you have the 13 in your chart, and particularly when you're 13, your conscious sun is in the gate 13, is to look at the past and to learn from it. Okay? So that's the first element in this incarnation cross. So I want you guys to find your conscious sun gate, and you may not be able to do this right now while you're listening, but look up the meaning of your conscious sun gate and contemplate How has that theme played out in your life? What role has that energy played? The unconscious sun in the left angle cross of, oh gosh, what was the cross that we were working on? I forgot. The left angle cross of masks.
Yes.
So thank you. The unconscious sun is in the gate 43, insight. Okay. The gate 43 is mutative circuitry. It's here to be different. It is the ability to have new thoughts and ideas, right? It's transforming the way we think about things. So that's the goal of the 43, is to think about things and then change the way we think about things, to, with insight, have breakthroughs about the way in which we perceive and think about things, right? So we're beginning to build a plot line here. And in this plot line so far, what we know is that in the left angle cross of masks, the conscious sun is about listening. The unconscious sun is about the ability to hear and to take the old and to have new thoughts and ideas about old ideas. So let me reframe that because that came out totally garbled. The 13 listens, right? And the 43 has insights. Okay, so if you had, let's say hypothetically, this was your cross in the sun, you would know that you are a listener, and from your listening, you have insights. Okay, you have knowingness, you know insights, you know things, you have breakthroughs and understanding based on what you hear. Okay, your conscious earth, the conscious earth in this cross is in the 7. Okay, remember, this is what we're here to receive, and this is what grounds us. Okay, the conscious earth in the 7 is all about leadership, the ability to support leadership, and it's the ability to change direction based on the quality and the quantity of good leadership. Okay, so we have leadership and guidance here. All right, so we've got, if we're going to break it down into one-liners, we have listening in the conscious sun, we have insight in the unconscious sun, we have guidance in the conscious earth, and in the unconscious earth we have the gate 23, assimilation, which is the ability to explain innovative thoughts and ideas when asked. Okay, so this is the ability to not only have the insight and the breakthrough of the 43, right, but also the ability to explain in simple and quintessence ways, to explain the insights so that they make sense. All right, so you can kind of see this theme now playing out in these 4 gates. So what we're going to do in our next step, this is kind of like if you've ever played the game Story Cubes, we're going to play Story Cubes with the gates of the Incarnation Cross. You're going to weave all of the archetypes of the gates and the cross together to make a story. All right, so let's go back to our left angle cross of masks. And we know that the 13 is listening, and the 43 is insight, and we know the 7 is guidance, right? And the 23 is explanation. Here we have a cross. And let me just, as I describe this, let me just point out, to me, and this is to me, I think the names of the incarnation crosses, for the most part, suck. They make no sense. When you look at the gates and you look at the name, you're like, huh? So if you're looking at your cross and the whole time you've been doing human design, you've been wondering, why is this called this? The answer is, I don't know. And the answer is, we could redefine the names of the crosses if we wanted to. You could name your cross whatever you wanted to name it. Just make sure that when you're talking to other human design people, use the right name, because otherwise it's confusing. But the left angle cross of masks has a life purpose of listening to the stories of others, to offering, based on what you've heard, offering insights and explaining in simple ways, new ways of thinking about the story and new ways of guiding people through understanding how they could create a different story based on their perception, and helping people rewrite the stories that they tell about themselves so that you can support them in taking new directions and new leadership in the way in which they express the truth of who you are. Left angle cross of masks makes a great coach, a great therapist, a great friend, somebody who can really hear you, somebody who can really listen to you, and then help you rethink with great insight and take leadership with deep, wise guidance on how you can take the story of your life and transform it into something new, something powerful, something more authentic. So you can drop the mask and be true to who you really are instead of wearing a mask for the rest of your life. All right,
Great
now
story,
it's your
Karen.
turn. Pardon me?
That was a great story, Karen. Great mythology.
So I'm going to, I just had to throw this picture in here. I love this picture so much. This is my daughter when she was 3. She wore this dinosaur costume for like 2 years straight. But now it's your turn. I'm going to get out of the slide sharing, and I'm going to let's look at a couple of crosses and do some storytelling. As I said, please be patient with yourself. Some of the crosses, it takes a little bit of practice working the story. What I would invite you to do is take each one of those 4 gates one at a time. Write down the theme of that gate and just write down how maybe that theme has impacted your life over the course of your, life. Like, I'll give you an example. In my Incarnation Cross, my conscious sun is in the 29, the gate of commitment, which is also the gate of yes, and sometimes the gate of overcommitment, and sometimes the gate of, that overcommitment. So, and devotion. And I really had to look at how has the theme of commitment and devotion played out in my life in good and bad ways. So let's say that was your Incarnation Cross. If you were born on the Incarnation Cross of Contagion in August, you could take that 29 gate and start writing in your journal, what does devotion mean to me? How has commitment influenced my life? Where have I made good commitments? Where have I made bad commitments? Where do I need to really learn to tune in differently so that the commitments that I make are the correct commitments? Where have I struggled with commitment? Where am I aligned with commitment? Take each one of those 4 gates and really go on a personal journey with each one of those 4 gates, and then start looking at how do those gates play together. As I said, that's the part where you're kind of playing the story cube game, where you really look at each one of those themes and start looking at how do those themes play together, and how can I weave those themes together into a beautiful story. So, all right, Cindy, I think, do we have some examples we can look at?
I have BB's up right now.
Okay. Is BB on the call by chance?
I do not see that BB is on the call right now.
I don't see that she's on the call
Might
either.
be watching. So. We have lots of Facebook people watching.
Okay, so BB, we're going to look at your chart. We're going to look at BB's chart. And if you have your chart handy, or if you know the gates in your Incarnation Cross, you can put those up. Oh, people are raising their hands. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. I'll pull some people out of the Zoom room in a minute. So, you're going to show us BB chart? Ah, there we go. Okay. All right, so here we have BB's chart in theory. All right.
BB's.
So first of all, just for fun, let's look at the gates in the Incarnation Cross. So we see that BB has the sun in the conscious 55, which is faith and abundance. She has the unconscious sun in focus. She has the conscious earth in 59, which is impact. And she has the unconscious earth in the 16, which is enthusiasm, okay? So what we know about BB is that she has focused enthusiasm, all right? That's the unconscious parts of the chart, the 9 and the 16. And we know that she's designed to have impact because she has the 59. And she's a 6th line, so she's a role model profile, right? So she's designed to have impact as a role model. And for her to have the impact that she wants to have, she has to have faith. That for her, she has to, it's a 6th line because she's a role model, she has to live faith. She has to have faith that she will be placed in the right situations where she can, with great focus and enthusiasm and impact, teach other people about the power and the importance of faith and abundance. So this is a great cross for a spiritual teacher, somebody who is here to teach people how to tap into the true nature of abundance and to stretch themselves beyond their human capability by virtue of knowing how to harness faith, and to, by virtue of harnessing that faith with great focus and enthusiasm, create big impact in the world. So that's it. That's simple. Those 4 gates. Dun, dun, dun.
Oops. Did you want?
Now, Phoebe had a question though, right, too?
Yes, she did. I'm trying to get off the animation here. Okay.
See,
Phoebe's question was,
this
as a
pointer
person who's
thing
a jack of all trades, are there markers in the human design chart
that
that
indicate.
indicate specific skills to be using in one's business and or living out their purpose? Which skills are more in alignment?
So, people ask me this a lot, like, what should I do? Based on my chart, what should I do? And I just want you to understand something really important. There really aren't a lot of skills in the chart. And certainly because BB has, BB has the whole channel of talent. That's the 1648, which means that whatever she ends up doing, she can end up probably doing it pretty well as long as she commits to it. And she has faith, because she has to have faith as a role model with sun and faith, right? But the chart doesn't show me a lot about skills. Like, I don't look at the chart and I can't go, oh, this is the chart of a fireman, or this is the chart of a nurse, or this is somebody who would be a great writer. So recognizing that the chart contains the mechanics for your purpose, it's the map for your purpose, it gives you the mechanics, and this is the most important part, for how you make decisions, so that the decisions that you make are decisions that are aligned with your purpose. That's really what the chart shows us. It's the mechanical part. The skills part and all those other parts, they're very malleable. You can have an incredible chart that you might be a best-selling New York Times best-selling author and have a chart that is a specific chart. And somebody could have a very similar chart, and they could be a cook in the kitchen somewhere. And it's not so much about skills as about recognizing it's the mechanics for how you process energy, the mechanics for how you make decisions, and purpose. Life purpose isn't about what you do. It's about who you be. And that's so, so important, because I think we spend a lot of time trying to pursue our purpose as a direction or a path or a career. And it's not about what you do. It's about who you be. In fact, if you look at the G center and you look at the 1-8, the channel that comes off the middle of the G pointing to the throat, and you look at the G as the center for direction in the chart and the center for love in the chart, we are designed to take our direction from our fulfillment of being. The G is a being center, not a doing center, from being who we really are. And the more aligned we are with the truth of who we are, the more we be who we're designed to be, the more everything lines up. And the skills, the opportunities, the invitations, the recognition, all that other stuff that we need to get momentum and unfold the plan of who we are, all of that shows up when we're being who we are, and not getting confused about the other way around. So
we had 4 or 5 that posted on Facebook, and I know there's 4 or 5 that posted their Incarnation Crosses here. And you have about 6 minutes before the top of the hour. So how many would you like to take from each?
So I'm going to do 2 and 2, but here's what I'm going to do before I do 2 and 2. I want to do one last thing here. I was working on this today, and I wanted to just show you guys this. Right now, all my human design products are 35% off. So if you go, and Cindy can post links, and that's all the professional level training programs, that's all the personal growth and development programs, and they're all on sale until the end of March. And we're doing a raffle every day. So if you purchase a product, your name will be put into a raffle. And everybody that's bought over the course of March gets entered into the raffle every day. So the earlier you entered into the process, the more chances you have to win. But every day I'm giving away, as part of my raffle, I'm giving away an item to thank you for being part of our human design family. Today I'm giving away a full set. I was going to grab those and have those handy, but I don't have them handy. I'm giving away a full set of the 9 essential oils for the 9 resiliency keys that we use in the quantum alignment system. This is a $165 set of oils. So really amazing, handcrafted, organic oils, mind-blowingly powerful oils. So that's what
have to go and buy something.
So, all right, good. Now, the other thing is the Life Purpose by Design program. I have a whole home study program on how to find life purpose in your chart and how to activate it in your chart. That program, which is regularly a $597 program, is on sale for 35% off. But for today and tomorrow, I'm dropping that price down to $97 because I really want you guys to get into this program. This is the most important thing we talk about in human design. When we say be yourself, you know, why do you want you to be yourself? As I said, when you're being yourself, you don't burn out. You don't fry your circuits. You are present to love, to abundance, to all the stuff that's part of our design. You get to be there and receive it. What I'm also going to do is if you purchase this program, you will be eligible to participate in a bonus live 2-hour Q&A session where I'm going to invite you to bring your chart and we're going to go through your life purpose in the chart live with me, which is why I'm telling you this because I'm getting ready in just a second to do 4 charts. I'm going to do 2 charts from the Zoom room, 2 charts from Facebook. In the live Q&A class, part of the Life Purpose by Design, I'll go through the participants' charts too. So you'll have another chance as part of that program to have me look at your chart. Of course, you can also always go to understandinghumandesign.com if you want to go deeper into this and get a reading, get somebody to really walk you through it. And any of our human design specialists are beautifully and well trained to be able to look at the story in your chart and help you translate it. So, okay.
That's over 14 hours of videos in that Life Purpose 2-day class.
It is. It's 14 hours videos.
14 hours of videos. Okay, so I don't know how you want to choose from do you want to just look and see in the chat and see which names jump out at you?
We have stuff in the chat. Let me do that. All right, I'm just
going to go. And there's also 2 in the Q&A.
Can you see in the chat who posted first?
Actually, Elizabeth posted her chart first.
Okay, and, so let's do that.
Hers is, she's the right angle cross of unexpected with conscious sun 28, 27, conscious sun 28, unconscious sun 31, earth 27, 41.
Okay. So the cross of the unexpected is this cross that we get scared of because we're like, ooh, because we all think the unexpected is bad. Let me just gently remind you that winning the lottery is also unexpected and it's good. So if you are across the unexpected, don't panic, okay? Again, it's one of those things that it's all about mindset, right? The cross of the unexpected has the purpose in life to redefine the values that drive us. And ultimately, it's actually a teaching cross. So the cross of the unexpected, through its experience in life, has unexpected events. And from those unexpected events, you are initiated into deeper, new understandings of the values of life, the values of community, the values of love. And you are ultimately here through reconnecting with Source to teach people about the power of love and the power of shifting values and bringing them more into alignment with love.
So the next person that also had the right angle cross of unexpected, that was Melinda. So that she would have the same information, correct?
Okay, yes, she would. Maybe different order, but yes.
Different order? Okay, Serena was the next one in the chat here. She has the cross of defiance, sun 49 and 2, earth 4 and 1.
Okay, so the cross of defiance is a revolutionary. Again, I'm not a big fan of that name because defiance sounds so like, no, I won't, you can't make me. And certainly in the low expression, there can be an element of that. But when you are a cross of defiance, you are here to give people revolutionary answers to help them change the nature of the direction and the contribution they make in the world. So you are literally a revolutionary agent. You are here to start revolutions by giving people revolutionary answers that help them change their life and help them become more into alignment with the truth of who they are, so they can make their contribution and do what they came here to do. So
that was the 2 from our Zoom.
Go, Serena. All right, so let's do our Facebook people.
Well, the first one on Facebook actually also had the right angle cross of the unexpected. It's a popular cross today. But
that's our cross for the day.
That was Natalie. She also had that. Sharon Mahani has the left angle cross of industry, 30, 34 for sun, 29, 20 for earth.
So the cross of industry is always a manifesting generator cross, right? So you are here through the responsive nature of the work that you do with power and charisma. You are designed to impact the world or to change the world with the quality and the power of the work that you do. So you're here to lead. You're here to be charismatic. You are here to organize people around doing divine work and world-changing work, earth-changing work. And from the value of the work that you do, you are here to show people a new way of being present, a transformative way of being present to the work of the world.
And
The challenge for you is to slow down. You always need to multitask, but don't throw so much spaghetti that you get splintered in your direction. Keep hold of your focus. That's the most important thing for cross of industry. What's the next one?
Kim Bong Hum has the left angle cross of healing, 4625, 5258.
Okay. So the left angle cross of healing is literally a healing cross. You are a healer by design. That 25 and that 46 is all about healing the body, and certainly you can be a very powerful hands-on healer. But part of what you're here to heal is people's disconnection from their joy. So the left angle cross of healing is all about helping people align with the full embodiment and the full expression of the experience of joy and the joy of life. The problem with the cross of healing is sometimes because they tend to be so sensitive and so open-hearted that they lose connection with their own joy in life, and that can really make you lose your direction with your own life purpose and your direction. So your most important thing for you to do is to stay connected to not only source, but make sure you're really keeping source anchored in your body. So yoga, tai chi, anything that brings you really into the vital essence of your body so that you can embody that physical energy is crucial. So good.
That was our two.
All right. So thank you all for joining me. I wish, God, every time we do this, I'm like, why can't we just hang on here for hours? We could, right? But Cindy would probably shoot me and my voice would probably go dry at a certain point. But thank you all. So
you're staying for hours. Well, you have a couple hours if they sign up for that deeply discounted life purpose class.
That's true. Sign up for the life purpose class and do the 2-hour Q&A, and we'll look more in depth in your charts and look at some other ways of not just looking at the Incarnation Cross, but also looking at factors like the moon and how does the moon drive you, and looking at the Saturn and the Jupiter challenge, and looking at your Chiron and your Neptune and your spiritual purpose. So over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be coming back on our Quantum Alignment show, and we'll be talking more about life purpose and how to look at life purpose in the chart. So I hope you will come back and join me. We'll learn some more about your chart. Here's the thing I want to just leave you with. And I know that some of my students have heard me say this, but this is just so important, I think, especially where we are on the planet right now. You know, you are literally a once-in-a-lifetime cosmic event. There's never been anybody like you before. There will never be anybody like you again. In the tapestry of the world, in the tapestry of the cosmos, you have your very own unique thread that you occupy. And if you pull that thread, or if it isn't where it's supposed to be, if you're a red thread and you're hanging down with the, the green threads, or if, that thread gets knotted and gnarled, or, it's messy, it affects the entire tapestry. Tapestry is only as beautiful as all the smooth threads that being in the right place and the intricate weaving being done perfectly. Be who you came here to be, not only for yourself, because you deserve that too, by the way, because your life feels better when you're being who you are, but take your place in the cosmic plan so that you can be you, because you are the contribution you're here to give the world. It's not what you do, it's who you are. So you can be the contribution that you came here to be to the cosmic plan, or the cosmic tapestry. So may you continue on this journey of self-discovery, and may every day you align more deeply with the truth of who you are. It's been an honor to talk to you today. Cindy, thank you as always for your help. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you all next week, and we'll talk about Chiron next week. How about that?
They'll get all the links again in a follow-up email if they're on your email list with the replay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And remember, 35% off all human design products, and join us for the life purpose class. It'll be awesome. We'll have a good time. We always do. So All right, bye. Bye, everybody.